I've got some hairs today that have decided that they're just gonna do whatever they want. While we continue to wait for new Trek to stream on our screens, I've got another little update full of birthdays, a legacy chat, where and when you can watch Discovery, some Star Trek stories you can take in while you wait, some Star Trek actor appearances, both live and streaming. Plus, of course, another update about Legacy and how my trip in 2 weeks is shaping up. This is the Star Trek Void, where I try to fill in the gaps between episodes with a little news, a little information, and hopefully a little bit of entertainment. And as per usual, I'm starting off with our birthdays and remembrances. And first up is a post here for Dean Stockwell. This one is posted by TrekMovies.com on his birthday, remembering Dean Stockwell, Colonel Grat, in the Star Trek Enterprise episode Detained, which reunited him with his Quantum Leap co-star Scott Bakula. Now, for me, I knew both Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap way before I ever saw them in anything else, honestly. At least nothing that I can remember. And so seeing them together again on Enterprise was really a treat. And we also are remembering James Doohan, and this one is also a TrekMovie.com post. On his birthday, we remember the great James Doohan, who played Scotty in Star Trek, the animated series, Star Trek TNG, Relics, if you're not sure which episode that is, really good one, and 7 Trek movies. He also provided dozens of additional voices in the original series and the animated series, and created the first Klingon words. So there's a piece of trivia for you if you didn't already know. He was also, I believe, a vet and is missing part of his ring finger on his right hand. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. And so if you see shots of him, he didn't show that hand too much. TrekMovies.com continues to keep posts up for birthdays. Happy birthday to Ethan Peck, who plays Spock on Star Trek Strange New Worlds after a strong intro on Star Trek Discovery and a couple of short treks. Looking forward to season 3, #Star Trek. And I have to say, I've been very, very pleased with his take on Spock, especially season 2, where he is exploring his emotions. So cannot wait to see, like they say, what's going to happen in season 3. And a very happy birthday to Jolene Blaylock. This one is shared by Trek News on Instagram. Trek News wishing a very happy birthday to Jolene Blaylock, to Paul on Star Trek Enterprise. And I'll tell you what, when they first introduced her, I could have sworn her name would suddenly change to T'Pau and she would be our T'Pau. And why T'Pau was so important was because she was the first science officer on Enterprise. But yeah, I was way off when I was a kid and thought I knew everything about Star Trek. Really glad that even though this show ended way before it should have, quite frankly, that they did get to the T'Pau storyline. So at least I got some satisfaction on that bad guess. John DeArco also celebrates a birthday. This one, of course, also shared by TrekMovie.com. Join us in wishing a happy birthday to Jonathan DelArco, Fantome on Star Trek Voyager's The Void, and of course, a certain beloved Borg, then ex-Borg, named to you on both Star Trek The Next Generation and then on Star Trek Picard. Live long and prosper. And all I have to say about him is he is another one of those genuinely nice guys. If you get a chance to get his autograph and talk to him for a moment, just nice guy. And like my third favorite Borg. And a very happy birthday to everybody's Star Trek sweetheart, Gates McFadden. And this one shared again by TrekMovie.com. Happy birthday to Gates McFadden, Dr. Beverly Crusher on Star Trek TNG in 4 films, plus Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Prodigy. She choreographed the dance in Data's Day, directed the super creepy TNG episode Genesis, and has her own podcast, Investigates. I really enjoyed Genesis. That's probably one of my favorite later episodes just because it was so weird. And I really love that she was on Prodigy. You can see her avatar right there. And that is all of our birthdays. There are always quite a few because Star Trek is such an ever-expanding universe. And in that expanding universe, there are, of course, lots of stories to be told. One of these stories shared in this post by TrekCore.com, originally released as an audio drama in early 2022, the Star Trek Picard tale No Man's Land comes to print in September. Written by Kristen Bayer and Mike Johnson. And you can pre-order this. I'll make sure that Amazon link is below. It might not work as filler entertainment between now and when Discovery comes out. Oh, and that'll be on Paramount Plus on the 4th of April for those of us here in the States. And for everybody who gets Sky Showtime, guess what? You can not only catch up on Discovery this month, but you'll get that premiere on the 5th. Oh, and it's 2 episodes. So yeah, good stuff. But if you'd like a little entertainment right now, I do have some stuff for you. Because right now, as this article on trekmovie.com, gosh, they're really good for info, comes out, tells us, watch Sonequa Marti-Green and Tawny Newsome talk representation and Star Trek celebrating Black women. And as this article says, for the first episode of their new Stargaze web series of conversations between the underrepresented stars on screen who bring diverse characters to life, Paramount Plus paired up Tawny Newsome and Sonequa Marti-Green. After a bit of mutual admiration, the two dug into what it meant to them to have the opportunity to lead Star Trek shows, the challenges they have faced in their careers as Black women, and how they take their learned experiences to their work, which includes Newsome's approach to being a writer on Star Trek Starfleet Academy. They show fun chemistry while they dig into some serious issues from their unique perspectives, resulting in a video well worth watching for fans of Star Trek. And one of the things I've always loved about Star Trek is its ability to represent the underrepresented, those who are disenfranchised, it seems, by most shows, at least at times when Star Trek is often able to represent communities that are generally not shown on television. And these characters are major characters that really draw the story together. Continuing with that theme, Galaxies in Space shares this: we are completely thrilled to reveal the amazing It's Michelle Hurd is joining us at D-Nikon in April. We, of course, best know Michelle as the incredible Rafi Musiker from Star Trek Picard. Get your tickets at, and of course, there is a link there that I will share below. And there's a nod here to the photo op here at Alex WW1701 for winning the photo op. Now, that is one in-person event. I will have another one in just a moment. But first, in case you have trouble getting to conventions, we do have something that you can watch live. I don't know why I say me. It's not me presenting it. The FSF PopCast. And here's what they have to say. Help us in the fight against pancreatic cancer. Donate to @PanCan with this link, and I will share that below, of course. Shimmerman Armament, Quark, Kit Sweek, Jonathan Frakes, Jay Billingsley, 60, and Brass Tab join us for a 2-hour live Star Trek and fun event here. I do love these names. I'll put that link below as well so you can get to it easily, because these live casts are often a font of fun information, tales, interesting stories. Yeah, you got to check it out if you possibly can. And here, of course, is yet another convention we've got going. This one is starting on Friday, April 19th, though it looks like it starts on Thursday on the thing, but we're going to read through this. Galactic D&I Con 2024, the most epic sci-fi convention of the year, returns. Sci-fi meets science with your favorite celebrities and space industry leaders. And this makes it a little clearer here. Below it says date and time, April 19th, 10 a.m. through April 21st, 7 p.m. Location, Sheridan, Philadelphia Downtown Hotel. And we've got a ticket button over here that starts at $10 and ends at $500. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to click on that sucker. All right, so we can take a look at the prices here. 3-day pass, $160. 3-day youth pass is $100 even. Game night shenanigans, $200. Ooh, dancing with Denise, $200. So yeah, you can see the prices here. It should be easy to access and decide if it's something you're able to do. And of course, the link will be below. But that is not all. I do have one more convention to share with you, and that one is coming up like now. Yeah, like now. Because as the Scorch 1701 shares, I can't believe 1 week from right now, and this post is 6 days old, we'll be trekking to San Francisco. Can't wait to see and meet our Trek crew and the tens of people who love Bev's Burgers as much as we do. So yeah, in case you cannot tell, tomorrow, March 8th, is the beginning of Star Trek San Francisco. And I do believe, at the very least, I'm aware that Terry Matalas, Todd Stashwick, and I believe Jeri Ryan are all going to be there. We were going to have a representative from Letters for Legacy, but due to some personal difficulties, they are unable to attend. So if you see anybody who's like, man, I wish they'd make Legacy, make sure you, show them this. This is the QR code that will take anybody you meet who happens to want to write their very own letter and make Star Trek Legacy happen, right to the Star Trek Letters for Legacy website, and it gives you all of the information you need to pen a letter, who to send it to, what to say, because for every letter sent, that is one more tangible vote for Legacy that Tom Ryan will not be able to ignore. As for my mission to Indiana Comic Con, which is the 22nd through the 24th, it's going pretty well, with the exception of the fact that I'm still on the waiting list for a table. I do have pretty much everything we need. And honestly, with my sister's help, my daughter's help, and myself walking around, if we can't get a table, we are sure to be able to get a couple hundred signatures at the very least. So despite not having the vendor table, which I was really hoping to get, we've pretty much got all of the materials we need anyway. The letters, the cards, clipboards to walk around with, pens, paper. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all this again. You can just check this picture video. You see, we got stuff. And that's not even all the stuff, actually. Now, most conventions do have to fill last-minute cancellations, so I am still confident we have a decent chance of getting a table, and if not, boy oh boy, you better bet I'm going to find a place to set up somewhere out of the way so people can find us and still sign. While I'm walking the floors, I'm going to constantly ask people, do you like Star Trek? And see if that starts conversation. Now, before I go, I do have one more fun thing to share if you happen to be a Brent Spiner fan. And that is his return to Night Court, which is the first place I ever saw him as well. First look at Brent Spiner's return to Night Court. I'm going to share this link for you down below, but here's a clip of the original character.
What's first, Mick? A return visit from some old friends, sir.
Hello, it's us. It's always a pleasure to be hauled up before you. And as usual, the accommodations were lovely.
And here he is reprising the role, looking very much like he did back then, and June by his side. So if you happen to have been a fan of the original Night Court, have been watching it, the new reboot, you're probably going to get a kick out of this. Now, I did real quick want to share, and I'm just going to put the source below here, the fact that Terry Matalas is now working on a non-Star Trek project, though he does say that he's waiting in the wings in case Star Trek Legacy ever does get picked up. So he is keeping busy, but he is still available for Legacy when the time comes. And honestly, after all of the awards for season 3 of Picard, anybody who doesn't go, hey, let's make Legacy, quite frankly, I don't think they're being smart for business people. And that is, I believe, everything I have for you this week. Generally, I've been giving 2 different updates through the week, or at least the last few weeks. I just didn't have it in me this week. The weather's blah, so I feel blah, and everything's blah. But hopefully with all this Star Trek content to keep us busy, it will help bring up everybody's spirits while we transition from this wintry winter to a springy spring that'll hopefully put a little spring in my step. Yeesh. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, comment below. I always read them, oftentimes react or answer. Now, if you missed those cruise pictures or just want other Star Trek information that maybe you've missed in the last couple of weeks, please do feel free to check out any of my previous videos. I try to cover varying types of information, as you see. You'll also find some posts for Outlander and other shows, so feel free to peruse and watch what you like. And regardless what you pick, I'll see you there. We already did this one. We don't need a happy birthday, Andrew Robbins. Between the underrepresented, why do I keep saying, adding your name and,